While outsiders were shocked by the events of the night of the failed coup, for many Turks it was a moment of déjà vu. That's why local experts say that there were aspects that did not fit in. They point to the lack of coordination and finesse, supporting the argument that this was carried out by a select cadre of officers. That's why many believe it was not supported by the entire army, and that's why it failed. Most of the younger generation was alive when the last military takeover happened in 1999. It was relatively bloodless. A group of generals issued a series of what they said were recommendations to the ruling Welfare Party, but they were also non-negotiable, and even accepting them did not save then Prime Minister Necmettin Erbakan. He was forced to resign and the Welfare Party was banned. The generals assumed power. They said it was to preserve the secular nature of the Turkish Republic as envisioned by founder Kemal Atatürk. It's a ploy that's been used 4 times to successfully overthrow an elected government. The first time was in 1960 when the army overthrew and hanged then Prime Minister Adnan Menderes. He had relaxed Atatürk-era rules on the role of religion in society and education. The military remained in power till 1965 to roll these back. And then it returned again in 1971 to stop the spread of what it called anarchy under the government of Süleyman Demirel. He was dismissed but was fortunate not to suffer the same fate as Menderes. Order under the gun was restored and a democratic government was allowed back in power, but only till 1980. That was when the military took complete control again, this time under General Kenan Evren. After the takeover, he said he did not believe the military had a role in governing the country, and then proceeded to rewrite the constitution, ensuring a permanent role for the army. It was ratified in a military-supervised referendum in 1982 and remained Turkey's guiding document till the 2017 referendum, the first time a directly elected government ratified a new constitution. Shoaib Hassan, The Newsmakers.
Well, I'm joined now by retired Air Force Colonel Mesut Hakkı Jashin. He's a legal advisor to the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Turkish Armed Forces and a professor of international relations at Özyeğin University. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you on the program. It's been an extraordinary year, and a lot of focus is on the armed forces. 1 year on, is it clear what percentage of the armed forces was infiltrated and involved in the failed coup?
I hope we take a look at this military coup has been failed since the lack of the legitimacy. It is very critical. However, when you're looking in the thousands of the Turkish history, this is in the material in the accident in Turkish history. One of the reasons is strategically we are looking like this: the FETÖ terrorist organization has failed the high-level command staff of the general army and pro-Kemalist and pro-democracy with fake the Balyoz and Ergenekon the movements and the materials. This means before this deadline of the activations, some people organize and they plan. However, they astonish the timing and they attack too early. On the other hand, the most important determination the Turkish army prevented the internal war with its decisive and the calm and ambitious solemn manner, and therefore it was continued the democracy was in the Turkish nation. However, the Turkish army has strengthened itself from this failed coup. In other words, the leadership of Mr. Erdogan, when another side, the Turkish First Army commander, just under the control, he tried to control all the First Army group in Istanbul. The third reason in myself, these people couldn't accomplish to capture the Turkish General Staff headquarters. If they fail, if they accomplish, was different the solution. Another idea is, I emphasize to you, it was illegitimate. That means the Turkish army, Air Force, and all the Navy didn't continue to do coups. This is very different than when you're looking 1960 and 98. This means in an event when you're looking, they order all the army group has the joint of this. Another idea, it is the pilot of the Mr. Erdogan, the former F-16 pilot, he accomplished the safety landed to Istanbul. And when you make the Mr. President and the explanation, he communicated to the Turkish nation, hey, call on the Turkish nation, and come on, and you defend the Turkish democracy. And that period of time, they lost the control and communicate with the people, and the Turkish nation defended it with the Turkish army. This military, the coup has been failed.
Right. So there are more than 3,000 people from the military who were sacked from their position. Unofficially, some sources say it's more than 7,500. That's a lot of people, and lots of generals, very high-ranking people, were fired. Some are in jail, some already prosecuted, and have been tried. Now, when you look at that, my question to you, 1 year on, is the army still infiltrated possibly by the Gulen movement? Do you think that they are still within the army?
Yeah, I hope the tragic failed the coup or raids, according to military criminal law, it is unacceptable. One reason is, when you're looking, the coup attempt failed since the lack of legitimacy the military side. Why? Only some of the brigadier generals aim to capture the military army. However, General Akar and other four commanders, four-star generals, resistant to this action. Secondly, Turkish army did not support this unlawful criminal act. It's very critical. Within 5 hours, they determined that this is unlawful. Number three, only a few group soldiers, without command and control chain, they attacked the headquarters in the general staff and breach of the Istanbul. However, they represent the private Turkish army and commander posts and normal soldiers they understood. They intervened to the Turkish democracy. But when I'm coming from the origin of the Air Force, when you're looking, some of the 8 or 5, the combat F-16, first of all in our history, they attacked to the Turkish National Assembly. It is very bad for us because of the Turkish National Assembly symbol of the Turkish independence and independent warfare for Turkey. Another, first of all, Turkish tanks and other battle, some of the vehicles has been fired to the Turkish nation. We lost more than 150 young people. But they couldn't accomplish. This is very critical. But before the one day, they changed the guard of the F-16 pilot, the scrambled aircraft, and they attacked the targeting, but the sergeants and other military commanders didn't give ammunition to them. What did they do? In order to give a sonic bomb, they attached to the Istanbul and Ankara to diving the big cities, the megapole, in order to make chaos in the international, the Turkish community. But it's very critical. That time, the injured base joined to the tankers to refill the aircraft. They refuel, but the brave pilots, they escort and they intercepted the airplane. That time, this air movement has been the failed. On the other hand, in a short time, the Murtat Air Base and the Akıncı has been controlled by the other commanders, and then they surrounded. This means a few people. As a result, when you're looking at the trail, all these people, between the 8,000 people. However, when you're looking at the Turkish army, it is third army after the U.S. and the UK and France, 1 million people. Only the 8,000 soldiers joined to this, and the people didn't represent the Turkish army.
Right.
In a short time, Turkey repaired this. Why? Strategically, it is impossible when another world army can the correction, the motivation again. We do the Jarablus motivation in the operation out of the Turkish the borders in Syria, and we fight the FETÖ terror organization. We fight the PKK terror organizations. I work in the military long time. In the history, first of all, the army is very successful in PKK operations. This means when you're looking the background, Turkish army historical, the background, motivation, command control. Most importantly, historical, the people and army come together in order to defend the democratic
and if you'd allow me to interrupt you, sir, and I apologize for interrupting. My question then critically is, yes, it's a big army. These were only a few thousand people, and maybe that is why they failed. But now, given that Turkey has so many challenges in Syria, fighting the PKK, fighting Daesh, lots of challenges, do you still believe that the army might be infiltrated by Gulenists? That the army still might have a problem within?
Yeah, it's a very critical question. I hope there is one reason is this military coup organized by some of our allied countries. They didn't give this, the criminal people, they go to the Greece and other Germany and our allied countries. But originally when you're looking Turkish army in historical background, it is coming from the people of the army. This means normally the citizens can be going to the left of in the military the rank. This means all the time Turkish nation come together with the Turkish army. This is coming from such a look at it near the time just before we are joined to the NATO. We see this Korean War, we see the Cyprus operation, we see the Bosnia operation and the Afghanistan operation. Turkish army has a big traditional the background. In a short time they motivate again. They go under the command control powers inside of the chain and reorganize its modernization. Today, the Turkey get very big lessons. We never see military coup again in democratic side. On the other hand, most importantly, together, Turkish nation and Turkish army see this coup is against the Turkish national sovereignty and independence. If they can accomplish, Turkey immediately joined the one civil war, and worse than the Syrian civil war. A lot of people will die and then they kill each other. So just in a short time, within 5 or 6 hours, all the commanders, the soldiers, can understood it, and they resisted this illegal the military coup, and then they accomplished the control just in a short time. In the world, I work in the military, in the NATO and United Nations. There is no like one country just in a short time, 5 hours, can control so big organized military intending a coup. This means this is a big lesson for Turkey, and it's a big example for the others. Why? If they can accomplish this, Turkey will be one model, and they can do other models to our neighbors, such as in Iran, and we see in some of the operations in the terrorist motivations. Turkey fighting with the PKK, with the Daesh, and they accomplish, and then also working with the FETÖ terror organizations. There is no like this, the one army can work in just in a short time, 3 sections. It's very dangerous terrorist movements. But as an academical people, I am requesting our allies from the NATO and European side, and especially I educate in the United States, please you understand the Turkey. Please you understand the request of the Turkish people. We request the democracy and independence. We request solidarity with the international community. We are the modern and secular country and army. All the principles come from the Mustafa Kemal and its supreme. This means we are the part of the modernized society, and the Turkey is always support the United Nations peacekeeping operations. So this means the international community need to Turkey. Turkey needs the international community inside of the solidarity in order to protect democracy and human rights and rule of law. It is very critical, I hope.
Professor Mesut Hakkı Caşın, it's been good to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us.